I'm back, baby.
An obligatory good news, everyone, is most certainly in order because we finally have our first proper look at the upcoming Futurama revival from Hulu. And although we've known about the project for a very long time, there has been very little content released surrounding this very unexpected return beyond the initial announcement. And I did air my thoughts in a video a while back discussing why I felt the revival was ordered in the first place, along with the controversy surrounding Bender's voice actor, John DiMaggio. Thankfully, that business has since been resolved, Bender is back, likewise with all the other mainstay voice actors who have been around within the series from the very beginning. But beyond the announcement, and I guess a couple of tweets and notes from the voice actors involved, we have had very little information released other than a list of episode titles revealed for this run, which I didn't make a video on this. I was in two minds really as to whether or not these were actually real or not. It is thankfully looking as though they are genuine, which is reassuring, and making this revival feel all the more real. We do actually have an official release date, that being July 24th, where episodes will be airing every Monday going forward, of which there will be 10 in total. Plus, we have a very short teaser trailer giving us our first proper look at the new episodes set in the year 2023, and nothing appears to have changed visually, which is a great sign. I was curious to see whether or not the characters would have aged 10 years. Perhaps the show will explain this kind of lack of continuity, since the show does surprisingly have quite a linear timeline beyond any crazy time travel storylines.
Or do something disgusting, like sleep with your own grandmother.
What little we know about the new offering comes from a brief press release with limited details, but does hint as to what we can expect going forward. And reading through this, I quote, "New viewers will be able to pick up the series from here, while longtime fans will recognize payoffs to decade-long mysteries. And this includes development in the epic love story of Fry and Leela, and this is one aspect of the show I had a strong feeling would have a continuation. Meanwhile, the last finale offering from the show was a great ending in my opinion. It gave a prominent focus to Fry and Leela's relationship and how, over time, this has become really one of the stronger ongoing plot threads from the show. Their relationship began with a will they, won't they sort of level of ambiguity, and at this point, I feel that part of the story really has been exhausted, where it looks like the show will perhaps be approaching them as a recognized couple, which is definitely a better approach in my honest opinion. More details include a reveal of the mysterious contents of Nibbler's litter box, which could maybe be inferred as a continuation. If I recall correctly, dark matter, the fuel source used for space travel in Futurama, was rendered obsolete thanks to the events of Bender's game, and if you didn't realize, dark matter is essentially just Nibbler's poop. And looking at the teaser, there is a shot of Nibbler looking at a very ominous orange mist coming out of the litter box with a reflective sort of orange hue in his eyes. No idea what to make of this, obviously time will tell, but I feel the dark matter fuel situation is definitely worth revisiting. The secret history of evil robot Santa sounds fantastic. There's a short clip of him in the teaser where he's wrapped up in Xmas decorations where it looks as though Zoidberg and Bender have been fighting him, and with the idea of the secret history taken into account, maybe this could link to Robot Santa's origin, since we've only really heard about its construction in the Xmas story episode from Season 2, and looking at the episode titles that leaked, there was a really bizarre inconsistency with the Christmas episode, where it looked as though originally it was going to be referred to as I Know What You Did Last Xmas, but now looking at the official list, it's been renamed to I Know What You Did Next Xmas. Not really sure what to make of that, but regardless, it's great to have another festive-themed episode. Plus, we know vaguely from the behind-the-scenes info that rap artist Coolio did record some voiceover as the Kwanzaa bot before his unfortunate passing in 2022, and so more than likely we'll see him feature in the Robot Santa episode with these characters, often being associated with one another. Harking back to more familiar ground, we also have a continued story looking at Kif and Amy's tadpoles from that really strange Season 4 episode. I always felt this was kind of a throwaway moment in the series, especially with just how strange that episode was overall, but clearly, if there's more story potential in this, I'm all in favour of a continuation. Apparently, David X. Cohen, who works on the show, did hint at this being a continuation, and the episode title, Children of a Lesser Bog, does seem to refer to that, so I'm hopeful to see that there will perhaps be something more to this going forward. Despite being 1,000 years ahead of us, the relevancy of social commentary from the present day is wonderfully intertwined into the year 3000, and looking at this very short list of what we can really expect from the new episodes, we'll be exploring a new pandemic in town, which I feel has kind of already been done. One of my favourite revival episodes from the last revival, we'll have to be clearer on that wording going forward, but one of my favourites was the common cold epidemic, where Fry accidentally infects New York, and perhaps we'll see something, I guess, more widespread than this. Obviously, this is going to be in reference to COVID, where I feel there's some great writing potential to satirize how that situation was handled. Looking at Bitcoin as a topic, I feel that's very open to story potential. We'll see what happens with this going forward. Likewise with cancel culture, one of the leaked episode titles was simply Zap Gets Cancelled, and I honestly couldn't think of a better character to experience cancel culture than Zap Brannigan. He's always had the egotistical celebrity edge to him, and that arrogance arguably complements being cancelled, where he may not be aware of how his actions upset others. Definitely looking forward to seeing how that goes in particular. Lastly, and I guess most ironically, is the topic of streaming being integrated into the series. Obviously, the show has been picked up by a streaming company now, so I can see there being a fourth wall break with this taken into account. And already, we've seen this from the teaser renaming the show to Hulurama, and speaking of that teaser, there is a handful of visuals to break down as far as the animation goes. Bender hugging his co-workers very tightly, might I add. Bender and Zoidberg escaping Robot Santa, a literal calendar reveal of the year 3023, where Zoidberg is punched by Bender. Calculon is back.
Calculon's back!
Yet again. I was certain he was killed off, brought back, then killed off again, so I'm assuming he'll be resurrected a second time at this point. Some shots of Zap and Mom, nothing really overly interesting from those. And then we have the main characters running for their lives, the usual expectations from Futurama. Like I mentioned before, we do have the episode titles hinting at what we can expect going forward. Starting off, we have the Impossible stream, which is going to be the first entry into the streaming-based episodes of Futurama. Then we have Rage Against the Vaccine and Zap Gets Cancelled, which I'd like to think, from what we have already spoken about, we've kind of already unpacked what we can of those. The Prince and the Product and related to items you've viewed sound oddly quite sinister, especially that last one. Maybe something relating to Amazon. I'd like to think Mom would be a powerful enough figure to become a sort of Jeff Bezos-style character, perhaps. And in the teaser, we do see a clip of her where in the background we see drones carrying packages, so perhaps that will make Planet Express more redundant as a delivery service. Who knows, obviously time will tell. Children of a Lesser Bog we have kind of already spoken about. How the West was at 10100001, no context for that one. And when it comes to an obvious title, I Know What You Did Next Xmas, that's gonna be the Robot Santa episode. And I'm really excited about the potential behind Parasites Regained. If this is anything to do with the Season 3 episode, Parasites Lost, I'm certain this will be a very creative continuation. And last up we have All the Way Down. Again, sadly, this one doesn't really hint at anything known, but again, we'll see what happens going forward. Even though I did not anticipate new episodes of this show, and there is a very, very small part of me that is fearful that this revival could be horrible, regardless, it's still one of my all-time favourite TV shows, if not my absolute favourite, and I am excited to see what is next up for the Planet Express crew. I do feel that the 10-year gap between seasons will definitely keep the show feeling fresh, since there's just so much content they can delve into, even from the past decade alone. And seeing further expansions to already established storylines is something I'm all for as well. Plus, this run is the first of 10 episodes. There's another 10 episodes already in production, and hopefully if these do well and the show's quality remains consistent, we'll see more Futurama in the long term. It's not every day a show is given a third chance if we count the straight-to-DVD films as a revival, the Comedy Central run as a revival, and now obviously the new Hulu run. I'll likely review the new episodes on the channel once they have all aired, so be sure to keep an eye out for more Futurama-related content. You can check out my collection overview of what was the complete series released onto DVD, and I do also have an upcoming video planned looking at every single Futurama comic book, which this is a collection I've been working on for a little while, and I recently finished the set, and even though it's not canon to the show as such, it's still fun to see some equally enjoyable Futurama content, and the comic books genuinely are some great stories, with some very well-written character moments, so to give those some recognition, I felt was definitely worthy of their own video on the channel. So let me know your thoughts on the upcoming revival of Futurama, as ever I love hearing your thoughts and opinions. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like, and for more content, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, DVD Review Studios.
Are you threatening me?